Autism feels hard. It's like being in a room with this stereo on full blast. It feels like my legs are on fire and over 1 million ants are climbing up my arms. It's hard to be autistic because no one understands me. People just look at me and assume that I am dumb because I can't talk or because I act differently than them. I think people get scared with things that look or seem different than them. It feels hard. So the book that I read is called Carly's Voice by Arthur Fleischman and with Carly Fleischman. This book is about a girl named Carly who was diagnosed with first pervasive developmental delay at the age of 2, and then later on at the age of 2 was diagnosed with autism. She is a twin. Her twin sister's name is Taryn, and Taryn is a typically developing child. And she has an older brother who's 5 years older than them. His name is Matthew, who is also typically developing. So this story just basically, it's written in the father's perspective, who is Arthur, and he just goes through their life of having a child with autism and all the different struggles that they went through, going to different doctors, meeting different people, finding out all different sorts of therapies that would help Carly. And the one thing that is very interesting and different about this book is that Carly is completely nonverbal, and the way that she learned to communicate was through pictures and symbols, and then they later introduced her to an augmentative communication device, which she at first did not want to use. But at the age of 10, she was sitting with her ABA therapist, Howard, who is like a huge part in Carly's life, and then her speech therapist, Barb, who is another huge person in her life that really helped her. They were sitting at home one day, and Carly was kind of like, she was acting a little strange. She wasn't really doing her work like she usually was doing, and they had a computer that had her augmentative communication device there, but like I said, she doesn't like to use it. So she was having kind of like an off day, and she reached over to the computer and she started to type. So she started typing HUR, and then they were waiting for something else, and then she wrote T. So that spelled out hurt. And then she started typing HEL, and then she put a P, and then obviously that said help. And then she started typing out TEETH. So she was trying to tell them that her teeth hurt, and that's why she was acting the way that she was. So that was a huge breakthrough for her at the age of 10. She started using her communication device, and she realized that she could communicate using this device. It did take her a little while because she had to spell out everything, and she was hitting one key at a time, so for her to just type a sentence, it was taking a while. So throughout the book, you just learn she goes to different group homes. They try all different types of schools, and you just see the struggles that parents and families, brothers and sisters, are going through with a child with autism in their life. And it really showed you exactly what people go through and the real hard struggles of having a child with autism. And the parents really struggled. They had so many sleepless nights because she wasn't a great sleeper. She was on so many different medications, and they come to find out that she is able to communicate using her computer. And then later, that now that an iPad has been invented, now she uses an iPad. And it was an awesome book, and it really put into perspective of how children or people with autism really feel. So the quote that I read in the beginning of this really stuck out to me because I couldn't imagine feeling that way every single day or every minute of my life. I would definitely recommend this book to anybody that would want to read about a child with autism and the struggles that they went through. There's a chapter in here that Carly actually writes herself, which I thought was like amazing to hear that. I would give this book, if out of a 10, I would definitely rate it a 10 because I thought it was amazing. And I really like how they really include Carly talking a lot about, you know, the way she felt, and it really, really opened my mind and just how kids are feeling. And I know it's not typical in this case, but she is an amazing person. You can Google her because she has met Ellen DeGeneres and she has met Temple Grandin. And I just thought this book was amazing. And I wanted to read one more quote from the back of the book that Carly kind of said. She just said, "Picture yourself in a coffee shop with just one other person. The person starts talking and you are able to focus directly on what they are saying. For me, that is a different case altogether. The woman who brushes along our table leaves an overpowering scent of perfume and my focus moves. Then the conversation over my left shoulder from the table behind us comes into play. The rough side of my left sleeve cuff rubs up and down on my body. That starts to get my attention, as the whoosh and the whistle of the coffee maker blends into different sounds all around me. The visual of the door opening and shutting in the front of the store completely consumes me. I have lost the conversation, missing most of what the person in front of me is talking about. With more sense to smell, more overwhelming visual input coming in from the coffee shop, and more audio conversation from people talking at other tables in the room, I find myself only hearing the odd word the person in front of me has said." So I would definitely recommend the book. And you can YouTube Carly. She's on YouTube and she's been on the news, so I would definitely recommend it. Thanks, guys.